What's up, guys? We're just live streaming with some old pals, Roger and Naman, and I haven't talked to or seen those guys in some time. I mean, I'm always watching their channels, and um, you know, uh, I check in on their channels, but it's been some time since we've actually been on a stream or kind of chatted, and so it was really nice to uh, reconnect with those two guys. They're like my older brothers, so it's always good to hang out with your older brothers. Um, I've always wanted older brothers growing up. I had a little sister, and so whenever I get a chance to make friends with older people, like older guys, it's always been cool for me. I prefer that dynamic over people my age or younger. But anyway, yeah, Roger, he's going to be working on some books for us, and we selected the books. Go check out the video. Just it's hot off the presses. In fact, you can jump off this video and go watch that one, and then come back here. But we went through 10 books, and then we are sending him 6 books. So we kind of whittled down the 10 to 6, and yeah, I'm happy with the 6 that I'm sending him. A couple of them I've been kind of meaning to send to him for a while now. In fact, we've covered the books on previous. Hey, what's up, Joey Caden? How you doing, man? I kind of checked it out. I have yet to kind of digital download it and read it, but it looks intriguing. Yeah. I don't know if it's my kind of comic book, but it's definitely intriguing. So I'm gonna give it a read at some point. Give me some time. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well over there out in India. Staying safe. I know there's a lot of kind of turmoil over in that region, so hopefully everybody's staying safe and people aren't doing something crazy in your country like they're doing in mine. But anyway, we talked to Roger, we talked to Naman. I've sent over 6 books. I'm really happy with the books that we're sending again. I think the books that Roger's going to work on are going to have potential to come back with really nice results, especially 2 of them, the Wonder Woman books. Those have just been, it's just a humidity issue that it got some humidity exposure. It got really stiff. And so there's this kind of curling and rippling in the book, but you press that out, it's essentially they're 2 really high grade books at the end of the day. So those 2 books I think will come back fantastic. We're hoping the Rocketeer book will come back. It's a black cover. I know it's tough with black covers, especially with the whole pressing process, and sometimes in the desire to get it kind of nice and flat, it can sometimes create actual issues with color break in the book. So that's something I'm willing to take a risk on, but I know Roger's going to be super careful with his process. And so, yeah, that one I'm feeling it will come back with really good results too. We're expecting that one to come back, in the high grade region as well. Again, it has that stiffness. There's some internal kind of foxing going on, some maybe spore type issues, but Again, Roger's not going to go crazy page by page thing. We're just expecting the exterior to be really clean, um, and the interior to kind of be more pliable. That's all we're expecting from that book. And then there's the Superman book. That's the one I think is going to have like a night and day difference. That's the one we're really hoping comes back looking really nice. And I think Roger, I got a sense from him, he kind of knows how to handle that one. We're trying to get the stains out. We're trying to kind of, brighten it up, lighten it up, and then of course get it just super, um, super, straightened out. The spine there is kind of, it's fanned out at an angle, so we're trying to get that lined up and the alignment corrected. So that should be one that I think will be really good. Hey, what's up, Ron? Right? Yeah. What was the other book? There were two more books. One was the Teen Titans, the Neil Adams cover Teen Titans. That one again, I think just needs a really good press. And that one should come back better. It's not in terrible shape right now. It's just a little dingy, a little eraser time there, and a good press. That book will come back looking fabulous as well. And I think that's it. Those are the 6 books. Rocketeer, the and then there's the Superman, the 30th anniversary cover. That one is great visually, but when you tap, when it's in front of you, like and you're feeling it, it's stiff. It doesn't have the pliability on that. So that one, I think, will need like a heavier press to get through the entire book, because it is a it's not a stapled book. It's got a bind, what do you call it? The bindery. It's a bound book. And so the bound books, they're thicker and they're a little harder to press because you've got to get backing boards to at the right level, and you don't want to press too hard down on it. And it's hard to get like a deep press into a thick book like that. So I don't know if it'll have to be pressed, maybe in certain sections with less pressure. But again, Roger's got good experience with that. So, yeah, I am curious as to the process for that one. So hopefully he'll talk us through his process for that when the books come back. We don't. No, that's not depressing. We're talking about Squarebound. Thank you, Ron. I'm just losing my marble sometimes with words. Squarebound. All right. So yeah, we're here for another weekly session here. We go through 10 books. I do want to let people know, Joy, Caden, and Ron, you probably see. In fact, let me see if I can change it here. I don't know if I can. There we go. I have changed my name, channel name, to, there you go, SuperOtaku. I figure I've really pivoted from being sort of a collector of this and that and Superman to now primarily Superman. It's like yeah, it's kind of what I focus on here on this channel. So I mean, nothing it's not going to change in terms of what I talk about. I am going to still cover Marvel. I am still going to cover things outside of Superman. But I just wanted to kind of change my moniker to something more reflective of or having a connection to Superman. So I thought Super Otaku, you know, just has a better kind of feel to it. Super Otaku versus Otaku tour guide. Um, so yeah, Super Otaku just means super geek. Otaku is just a Japanese word for geek, and so I figure moving forward, that's who I am. I'm just super otaku. Nothing crazy in terms of the change. Just changing our channel name and our handle so that people can find us at Super Otaku Collection. So that's how we're doing it. That's Don Rickles, man. That's the cover of yeah, Jimmy Olsen. That's a famous cover. There aren't too many photo covers of real celebrities back from the Bronze Age, but you got the Don Rickles cover, and you find that ever so often in the collections here, like at your LCS, as you're digging through the Jimmy Olsens, you'll get the Don Rickles issue. It's usually beat up, well read. No one was taking care of that one, right? Good one. All right. Well, let's get to the books now. And I'm going to show, after we talk about the books, I'm going to just show you kind of the project I've been working on. It's a fun project. We'll talk about it more as we get into it. So, 2026 is 2026 is turning out to be really well, not to mention there's an actual war going on right now. The US is at war with Iran. But I really feel like even prior to that war, Marvel and DC have been kind of battling for comic book superiority, and for many years, it's been primarily Marvel. I think the general public, because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the popularity of that, it translated into the movies doing better, the comic books doing better, people just having a general fandom of Marvel because the younger kids, they go watch something like Avengers, or they go watch something like, you know, Thor, Spider-Man, and they get caught up in the content there. And so, yeah, Marvel's been kind of at the top of its game. And even during my collecting era, Marvel's always kind of been at the forefront of collectors' attention. And, DC's kind of has always played catch up outside of Batman, hasn't really landed anything outside of Batman. But that all changed last year. Last year, I felt like with Gunn's Superman, just that one project, it definitely was like the best comic book movie of last year. And because of the momentum of that project, it started to kind of trickle down into comic books as well. And you really had a banner year for DC. DC outsold Marvel, really almost like 9-1. I mean, it was kind of like everybody had stopped reading Marvel and kind of shifted over to what DC was doing. And DC is doing a lot of kind of world building, innovative stuff right now through its All In and Absolute series. And again, I haven't read these, but what I've been hearing is a lot of good things. The stories are compelling. They're using the character, the the essence of all the characters in the DC universe and adapting them um, into this new sort of dystopian kind of world and future. And yeah, that's carried over into this year. And I just feel like, um, strategically, DC has positioned itself to really be kind of outdoing Marvel at its own game and kind of, I don't know, Marvel just feels, and this is the thing, I think there's cycles of this, but there was definitely a time where DC felt like you were just going through the motions reading their comic books and stories. And, Marvel was fresh. And now I feel like we've come full circle and DC's the one with the fresh material, whereas Marvel's gotten a little stale. No, this Versus did not come out this year. This came out in the 90s. And I just wanted to highlight DC versus Marvel because I think we're at a crossroads, and it makes sense that we'd have this kind of changing of the guard, if you will. DC's really kind of struck Marvel hard, but Marvel's not down and out for the count yet. In fact, Disney's got a lot of stuff stacked up to counter any momentum that DC might pick up. But you've got Star Wars on the slate. You've got down the road, you've got the Spider-Verse, that installment coming. You've got Avengers, you've got X-Men, you've got Daredevil on the Disney Plus. And so you've got all these projects that are popular and still kind of packing a punch. And yeah, right, Ron? There's been some worry there in the gun universe with the Paramount. But Paramount's saying they're going to be hands off. They're all for Superman, and they're fully supporting these projects. They expect them to be big moneymakers. And that's what they're saying when it's doing well. What we have to hear is like a commitment to these projects, even with lackluster results. Like we can't just like if Supergirl is a success, but not like a huge blockbuster success. Like, that should not be any reason to pull the plug on any of these projects. It's like they got to give James Gunn continued room to work, because I think it will ultimately, the Superman sequel is ultimately going to be the highlight of where these other projects are percolating, right? So I hope they're patient with the whole process. I agree. I don't think the merger should happen. I think Paramount's bad for Warner Brothers, but Warner Brothers, they're in debt. They need someone to dig them out of their financial issues. So I don't know. We just need to dig up billions of dollars somewhere for the Warner Brothers people. Right. Jim Lee is doing a fantastic job, really taking a really thoughtful comic book creative approach to how they're not just working in a silo. They're not working in silos. Oftentimes comic books can feel like, each title is a siloed version, and they sometimes get together for like a big crossover type story arc. But no, they've been very intentional that everything's integrated, everything has a purpose, and all these characters are tied in one way or another. So it's been very coordinated. I like, in fact, DC has the best creative minds and talents. They've got the best writers. They definitely have some of the top artists. Dan Mora, I don't know anybody that can even touch Dan Mora in the comic book space right now. He came out of nowhere and just lit it up. I mean, the guy is um, he's having a tremendous impact on DC stuff. But they've got other great artists there too. They've got first off, they've got great writers to work with, but they've also got some of the top artists to bring those stories to life. So they've got this really great chemistry among these teams that like working with each other. Um, and yeah, it's really cooking right now. I know. I say we take like just like a couple Tomahawk missiles, sell those to Warner Brothers, and have them blow up Paramount. Then you got their stock price going up again. Very talented. All right, so yeah, my number 10 on the list. I just want to give a huge shout out to the 90s battle between DC and Marvel. I think 2026 is going to be a banner battle year. We're going to see who ends up on top at the end of this thing. I think we're seeing round 2 play out. Round 1 last year, DC took round 1. Round 2, Marvel's got a stacked lineup this year, and I don't know really if anything can counter a Doomsday box office, because Doomsday, I think, is either going to be a new platform for Marvel moving forward, or it's going to be the nail in the coffin. So you're just going to have a bunch of people kind of flocking to the theaters to see if it's a hit or a miss, and that will kind of ring out 2026. So we'll know the first weekend, Avengers Doomsday, and if that's a hit, Marvel won round 2. If that's a miss, I think DC is going to take 2026 as well. And you could see a TKO with the Superman movie set to appear. Now, there's been a lot of criticism about, well, let's get to it. So number 9 on the list is our favorite Doom book. This is I've got a lot of Doom cover art, and part of it was because speculative, but I also just kind of like the different takes that people have on Doom. Case in point, this Dave Cockrum cover is just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic, and it definitely is. This is better than the Kirby cover, even though that's a classic cover, iconic cover. I just consider this to be really the best Doom cover artwork around. And that's just my opinion. Obviously, there's a lot of Doom books that can, a lot of covers that can kind of take that mantle. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite. And definitely just a must-have. I feel like if you're an X-Men collector, there's no way this book is not a target for you, right? It's just classic Cockrum. Got Doom. He's got Aurora in his arms, raising the goblet. Man, that is comic book goodness right there. So yeah, that's again, Avengers Doomsday is, I think, the big wait and see, and that's going to determine the winner of 2026, and we'll have that right at the end of the year. So another thing coming soon is the next season of Daredevil. There's a lot of actually Marvel content on the docket. Not so much DC. DC, we got to wait for the Supergirl movie in May, and then in August, they're doing Lanterns. I think that's a perfect time to actually release Lanterns, because it's kind of going to keep people's interest and hopefully kind of take the wind out of the sails as more and more people are excited about lanterns and what's going on there. There's a potential, the excitement around Doomsday just might peter out. So I think it's strategic that they made it kind of late summer to it'll take us out into the holiday season. So, right, Doom, a toast to me. um, so this again, we got this awesome Frank Miller cover here, and they're bringing the whole band back. They're bringing Luke Cage. They're bringing Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, all part of that original sort of Defenders lineup that they were going for. And this leads me to believe that there's potential for, I don't know, I just want to say, there's something inside of me that says Elektra is going to be back. Like Elektra's just going to pop out with the hand, and she's just going to be leading the hand. And that's going to be kind of the climactic, season 3 segue. But that's just me. That's just me. I tend to speculate a lot of some of it comes true, some of it doesn't. But we'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get this book out. It's an absolute classic Daredevil cover here. Love the way the yellow, the green, and the red, it just all pops on this action-filled cover here. Very nice. All right. That was what, 1098? We're on number 7. The other thing on the docket for Marvel is, X-Men 90s, the 90s animated series. What do they call it? X-Men, what is it, 97 or something? X-Men 97, season 2. And season 2 is all about Mr. Sinister. It's potentially setting up Apocalypse. We don't know that yet. But I think Sinister is going to be a big part of as the villain in season 2. At least that's what we've been teased. And so I just wanted to share my low-grade detached cover copy of X-Men 221. This is actually one I considered sending to Roger because it's in dire need of a press. But again, with the detached cover and everything, just felt like this would be kind of a wasted effort. So I'm just keeping this as is. Maybe down the road we'll press it when we get into that. But for now, some other books took higher priority. But yeah, just love this Mark Silvestri cover, man. I remember getting this issue and reading it. And yeah, this was definitely like, would sell the comic book. This artwork here definitely had you wanting to read it and buy it. So shout out to Mark Silvestri for drawing such a fantastic cover there. All right, well, we're counting down to Supergirl, and we're also counting down to the casting for Wonder Woman. They've teased or rumored to have several potential castings for Wonder Woman. And they're all fantastic to me. They're all kind of, they all have sort of Latina backgrounds. And they're all very sort of like, they're beautiful, but they're kind of have that warrior like look to them. They're not supermodels, right? They have this sort of like feisty kind of warrior ethos look to their characters. And so, yeah, all the people they've kind of teased for me are have, could work, right? All the costings seem to make sense. I am kind of rooting for, um, and forgive me, I forget her name, but I am rooting for one of the actresses because I just feel like she has more of the, the kind of the that she wouldn't be too, I know Gal Gadot made Wonder Woman very sort of like foreign, like she's a foreigner and all this. And of course, she's from Amazon. She should probably have an accent, whatever. But part of me is also like, I want to see her kind of be like a Linda Carter type, like, have an American accent, kind of have or just have I guess, a standard North American type, not have her be this sort of like, Spanish speaking Wonder Woman. Not that there's anything wrong with it. She should be Spanish, but have the accent be there. She can be Latina, just not give her an accent because I just feel like when you make her like an immigrant essentially, the character just doesn't vibe with who Wonder Woman is, right? Wonder Woman's sort of this more kind of like I don't know if she's mastered all the languages, but language is not an impediment for her. She can speak very sort of high, classical speech, I guess, is what you're saying, right? So like high Greek, I guess, would be her native tongue. But just have that translate more into like her being able to speak English without any issues, speak a lot of English, a lot of languages without any issues. So let's not have her have some sort of like accent or speech impediment there. Just it worked with Gal Gadot a little bit, but it also kind of like set her apart from the Wonder Woman we're used to. So, but anyway, yeah, hopefully we get a sampling of this, right? The battle between Wonder Woman and Supergirl. Who would want to see that? That'd be just an incredible battle. Although I don't know if Millie Alcock can stand up to the actress who they're going to get to play Diana, but that should be a fun thing to look forward to if they eventually do get around to fisticuffs, lean and mean. Audrey Arjona. No, that's not the one I'm leaning toward. Anna de Armas, she's too modelly. I think it's the Isa Gonzalez. I think that's who I'm leaning toward. She's like sort of the more newcomer, kind of with the more like she's physical, but she's not like, she's not like a supermodel. She's not like waif thin. She's athletic, right? She's got a sort of a more toned look to her. So yeah, I think it is Isa Gonzalez who I'm kind of leaning toward. But again, Adria and all of these actresses, minus Anna de Armas. Anna de Armas, I don't think would make a good Wonder Woman. But people have been saying her for years, and I think she would make a great Wonder Woman. I don't have any qualms about that, but I don't think they're going to cast her. She's a little older now. I don't know if that's necessarily got anything to do with. I would imagine they all have to kind of be around the same age as, like Lois Lane, right? Lois Lane's in her late 20s. So I figure if they're going to cast somebody maybe in their late 20s. I think Alexandra is like in her late 30s, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of off there with the years. But anyway, that's fun stuff to speculate about. All right, now that we're speculating, where's this all going? Well, at some point, we gotta get this dude in the mix. And I've been saying, people are sleeping on Darkseid. They think, oh yeah, we got Darkseid in the Snyderverse. They're not bringing him back as a villain. With all the villains you got in the DC universe, why would you bring Darkseid back? Well, Darkseid kind of technically is Superman's most kind of powerful villain. And if there's anybody, especially from the comic book consulting realm, if you're asking Jim Lee, hey Jim, what's one villain we have to absolutely bring to the as the main villain in DC, Jim is going to hands down say it's going to be Darkseid. I think 9 out of 10 comic book people are going to point to Jack Kirby and say, dude, we gotta make sure we do Kirby right, because he created this singular character here that went on to really kind of dictate the modern era of DC villainry. And you have all these characters being set up. For example, Mr. Miracle, we know he's coming. You've got sort of the more modern Justice League that's going to flounder and flop, and then they're going to get their act together, and you're going to see the core Trinity plus the core JLA characters come. And then when they come together, who are they going to fight, right? Who are you going to? Why do you need 6 or 5 of the most powerful beings on Earth in a team unless you're battling something, sort of out of your league to begin with? So I think people should be targeting this book if you're speculating or whatever. But as a speculator, most people I'm sure are picking up this book. This book is still profoundly cheap for what it is, profoundly cheap. You're talking about a Bronze Age first appearance, but these books, I got this for like $10. If I were to get this in high grade, it would still be like $100. $100 for Darkseid's first appearance. Think about that statement. So yeah, if I'm a betting man, I probably want to get more high grade books of the actual first full or cameo appearances, or like this one, the first cover appearance. This should not be $100 book in high grade. That will be renovated as soon as we get whispers of who the top villain's going to be. But we know who the villains are in the upcoming projects. We know it's Sinestro in Lanterns. We know it's Brainiac in Superman. So we know those things. It's not a surprise. All right, where are we now? We on number 5 or 4? I've lost count, Ron. All right, this is number 4. They just made a huge announcement, and it's not really surprising. But we got confirmation that Aaron Pierre, aka John Stewart, is going to be in the Superman movie. Okay. So, like I said in my last video, we are working toward the 90s animated Justice League of America, where you have Jon Stewart, Hawkgirl, Flash, Wonder Woman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Superman as that Justice League of America team. And again, I think there's going to be a huge fallout with current Justice Gang and the Trinity. Once the Trinity's there, they're going to knock some heads and say, kick everybody out and say, no, the Justice League of America, we get to decide who is in this club. And if you do anything, try anything funny, we'll take you out. It's as simple as that. And they're going to take guys like Guy Gardner out. So I think we do eventually land on the Justice League from the animated series. And you're going to see, I think, now that Aaron Pierre is in the movie, I think you're going to see some romantic interest between Jon Stewart and Hawkgirl. I think it's just bound to happen. Those two actors are up and coming actors. They're pretty, right? Both of them are pretty, and it should be fun to see how that chemistry works out. So there you go. We got that set up for you. And this is a book we picked up in the trade with Biggie. Fantastic looking book here of our Justice Leaguers in action. Got Hal Jordan there, but you guys get the gist. This beautiful Mike Sikowski cover. Classic stuff right there. It's just classic stuff. All right, you guys ready for some Neil Adams? Number 3. I'm dropping some Neil Adams on you. We're staying with the Green Lantern hype. I am so hyped for Green Lantern. I got to be honest. I think it's the project I'm most excited about outside of the next Superman movie. And we just got confirmation again that these are going to tie in together. Aaron Pierre is going to arise as the Green Lantern. We don't know what's going to happen to Hal Jordan yet, but he's not cast in the Superman movie, that's for sure. And we know Aaron Pierre is. So Aaron Pierre is going to be our Green Lantern moving forward. And hopefully, hey, what's up, Will? Thanks. JLA, that's right. I think we're going to, again, end up seeing some form of the 90s version. I think you are going to see the Justice Gang be more and then eventually downsize. So it's going to incorporate really a lot of heroes. I think we're going to see like a superfluous amount of heroes in this next movie. And at some point, there's going to be a falling out and only the cream is going to rise to the top. So again, you're going to see some big battles. I'm not saying Hal and Superman are going to fight, but I definitely expect Aaron Pierre and Jon Stewart and Guy Gardner to throw down. Maybe with Superman there as well. So it's going to be a team effort against the gang. And who knows? Dr. Fate might drop in from. Who knows? Black Adam might even be in the mix. Everybody might be coming back. We're not putting any restrictions on who can be in this next movie. I'd welcome Black Adam. All right. And we know Brainiac's coming. So number 2 on the list is Brainiac. He's a Brainiac on the dance floor. Yeah, we're all excited. The dude they got to play both Sinestro and Brainiac look the part. They absolutely look cool and evil. They have a commanding presence. That's what you need in a villain. And this is my copy of a team up, Brainiac and Luther team up. Got Superman caged up. They're threatening to shrink him or take away his powers. That's pretty terrifying right there. All right. And number one on our list, back moving up the ranks, we got this classic Gil Kane cover. They are reciting the Lantern's oath, but Sinestro has different ideas. And yeah, the guy they got to play Sinestro looks badass. He's German, so he's got some kind of like thick German accent, probably there for Sinestro. Even though Sinestro technically doesn't have an accent, but hey, why not? We don't know Sinestro's background. He's an alien, so he can have as many accents as you want to give him. So let's do it. Hal Jordan's freezer girlfriend. I don't know about that. Yeah. I think this was a good pickup. I remember getting this book a couple years ago just because I just loved the cover. Now, I can't imagine when we see Sinestro, I can't imagine there'll be, outside of the first appearance, that there'll be a hotter book for Sinestro. So I'm really pleased with that pickup. All right, let's get to some additional fun stuff here. I am going to share what I've been working on. What's this? Is it a website? So I found this really, so as you know, I'm going to share my spreadsheet here. As you know, I keep a spreadsheet log of all my books here. And I do need to update this because I just subtracted a bunch of books from some trades I've recently done, and I haven't subtracted any of those books that are no longer in the collection. They're all here still on the list. So I have to go in and actually do an inventory of what I have versus what I don't have anymore. Case in point, let me just go to I pretty much purged all the volume 2 Super Spider-Man. So I can just I don't have any of those issues anymore. I can kind of just take those out of my collection now. There's a lot of Todd McFarlane stuff that we just took out. But yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of comic books still, even though technically traded away 200 books. It's still, well over 1,500 books still in my collection. So, why can't I find Spider-Man? What's going on here? Here we go. So yeah, like a lot of this stuff. Oops. Up to 16. Right, all this stuff is pretty much out of my collection now. I guess I can delete it. Boom. Just like that. A lot of this stuff is gone too. The Spidey Super Stories. I think everything minus still have the still have 16 and 23, I think. Um, but yeah, again, I have to go through this and kind of micro update it. Maybe that's why. Yeah, I could see Sinestro with a German accent. To be honest, I wouldn't mind him with a German accent. He's got to be like this smooth talking German that you just in the back of your mind is like, no, that dude's evil. Come on. Um, where am I going here? Okay, so this is kind of my spreadsheet. I need to update it. But then I ran across this really cool. I kind of wanted to. So I've always had it in the back of my mind. I want to catalog my collection, kind of take pictures and have a real kind of detailed record of what's in my collection with the actual books. I'm taking pictures of my actual books and maybe writing notes on how we picked it up or our memories of the book. And this way, it's just something cool uh, to be able to kind of look through the collection and know what you have, um, rather than digging through your books. Right? It's just nice here at your fingertips. And this is something I just again I got an HTML CSS template. I think this template is called PhotoSense. So look up PhotoSense. Sorry, it's called PhotoSend. Look up that. You can use the same template, and you just kind of plug and play, by creating, again, adding the photos and all that, and using the template here to build your own kind of navigable website. So I've been kind of working on this for the past couple of days since my classes ended, and as you can see, I've kind of built it out, the nutshell of kind of what I want to build out. Now, if we go into Golden here, you'll just see one Golden Age book, because outside of Superman, there's not many Golden Age books. But if we go into Silver, you see a lot more stuff. These are some of my and you'll see gaps because again, I'm planning to take pictures and upload them at some point. So it's a work in progress. And what's really cool about this is like the website, the image pops up as black and white, and then when you scroll over it, shifts to color. So I just thought this is a really cool way to kind of like, again, build like a gallery of what's in my collection. And when you click on here, it makes it large. And again, you can put in like a description here. And as you go through, Amazing Spider-Man 56, VG minus, January 1968, art by John Romita, Doc Ock appearance. Things, just like little short descriptions like that. A lot of these are just kind of like the descriptions on what you'd find on Key Collector. Let me show you something I built out a little bit more here. For example, Jim Lee. Yeah, I kind of got a little cool Jim Lee gallery going here. So we start with the connecting covers for DC. Look at that. These are the actual books in my collection. That's my actual foil cover right there. My actual cover A. Right? That's what I thought. Thanks, Will. And these are my 90s Jim Lee signature collection here on the X-Men connecting covers. So for example, you got signed by Jim Lee, Chris Claremont, Scott Williams, Bob Harris, quadruple signature there. Stan Lee and Jim Lee on this copy here. There you go. You can see it better now. And then we've got just Jim Lee on cover C, cover D, and then cover E, got the 90 signature here. Number X-Men 2, signed in the 90 signature. Annual 1, signed in the 90 signature right there. And his first work on the X-Men title. Now, this is not Jim Lee's first X-Men book. X-Men book is, he actually does interior work on Classic X-Men. I think it's 28, Classic X-Men 28 or something like that. That precedes this one by like a month or a couple weeks. So that's his actual first work on X-Men, Classic X-Men, I want to say 38. Whereas this is his first work and on the ongoing title. So a lot of people kind of confuse Jim Lee's first work on the X-Men versus Jim Lee's debut work on Uncanny. So just make sure that that distinction is made. Yeah, and then we get into like the Wolverine. This is the sexy Psylocke cover here with Wolverine. This iconic cover here, Wolverine cover, probably his best, in my opinion, his top cover at Marvel. Maybe controversial statement there. His first appearance on a cover, Jim Lee's first cover appearance with sexy Psylocke. Got more sexy Psylocke here. Comic card cover variant. And then we get into Wildcats. I need to retake this picture. That's blurry right there. I gotta take a nice sharp focused picture of that one. Here's a Grifter. That's nice and sharp there. And then we get into Batman Hush, the Dynamic Forces. He signed, how many copies of this did he sign? 3,000 copies at the launch of this book. It's crazy. See how it's like in black and white, and then it pops in color. I love that. I love that effect on this gallery. It's like you actually have to hover over it to get the color image. That's cool. Boom. This is black and white to begin with, so not much change there. And then boom. So that is kind of what I've been working on in the backdrop here with the collection. Hopefully I get this more fleshed out and we can easily just flip through my collection at this point. We got a Neil Adams section we're building. This is the Neil stuff. Beautiful. The Superman stuff really pops because he looks like it's like none of the colors are there. So it looks like he's just wearing like long johns, and then boom, the red boots and the cape pop out. It's pretty dramatic with the Superman covers. Because again, it's like lacking color, and then boom, you get all the color there. That's a cool effect. We just had that. We just covered that book. All these great Neil Adams covers here. Boom. Right. The Wildcat series should be worth more. I agree. I think there's room for, at some point, Wildcats to make its way. Hopefully. That's why I'm really hoping the DC Gun project works out, because the more DC has latitude to really build out their universe, add more projects, I think Wildcats would be a great team, like an X-Men like team in the DC universe to play with. Um, so yeah, it's not software. It's let me show you kind of. It's basically a template that I've been using. So you do have to kind of uh, code like build out a website essentially. But I don't have this website wired to any servers or anything. It's just HTML uh, files that I'm opening on my computer. So they kind of launch in a browser. Um, in fact, this is the it's just the it's on my hard drive here on my computer, and I've just been coding it out. So it's not like anyone can access it. Maybe someday I'll publish the website, but for now, it's just really just a digital way to look at my comic books. And so I'm in the process of building. Oh yeah, we get the Action Comics kind of fleshed out here a little bit. See, these are just again, it's like day 2 of this project. I've been kind of worked on it kind of feverishly today because it snowed here where I live and didn't really have an opportunity to go out because of all the snow. So just stayed home and kind of worked on this, and it's been fun. It's definitely a fun thing to do if you have a small collection. If you have a large collection, it would be more work. I mean, it'd be like a full-time job, right? You got like tens of thousands of books to like take pictures of it all, upload it, and code it into like a website. But again, I have about 1,500 books, so I feel like it's manageable. Um, in fact, like the Silver Age, I I can pretty much like these are all the Silver Age books right here, all these all the way to like this book here. This is February 1969, so it's like I'm talking about Silver Age that's not Superman related. So these are I don't have a lot of Silver Age books until you get to Superman and Action Comics. I mean, if you go, that's where the bulk of my Silver Age stuff is. It's all here. So this is the part I'm really building out. This will probably take a while. Because I'm trying to build out not just Silver, I'm trying to build out the entire Action Comics books that I have, which only surprisingly is like I have 100. What's my Action Comics count at? It's not high. I want to say it's like 120. No, sorry, it's 160. So my Action Comics count is at 160 books. And my Superman, Volume 1 Superman count is at 80. So total, I have 240 Superman Action Comics books. And as you can see on this website, I don't have like X-Men. I really have like 5 artists that I really want to focus on. And we'll build that out to include more artists. But right now, I just want to kind of give myself a short leash with the books. And then also for Superman, I'm only doing like Superman Action Comics and adjacent, like World's Finest, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, the family type stuff. So it's fairly fairly simplified. And of course, we're going to build out, for example, the bronze stuff. Going to build it out. This is where I think this is pretty much built out. Again, I don't have a lot of silver. The real bulk of it is going to be here in the Superman, the artist stuff, and some of the signature books. I'm going to just focus on a lot of the signed books I have as a separate, and the modern books. There's a lot of modern books. But yeah, like this Jim Lee section, this is kind of a good indicator of what it'll look like when it's humming, right? It's just going to be books and books and books. And yeah, just going to have little descriptions here, be able to flip through it. How cool is that? Yeah. All right. Well, I haven't seen you in a while, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out. Tyler, always a pleasure. Ron, of course. Ron's nodded off. He's called it a night. He's in Z-land, or maybe he's still listening. But thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll see. There he is. Mouse glove, yeah. This is, I was talking about Jim Lee's best cover being the Wolverine cover at Marvel. In terms of his DC cover, I want to say this is my favorite. This is my favorite. And Fanboy and I share the same reason why it's our favorite. Because this nonsense that Batman could, again, it is nonsense, that Batman could somehow have a chance against Superman without cheating or without Superman's implicit kind of, help is ridiculous, right? So I love that Jim makes everybody understand, no, this would be a quick battle if they actually threw down. So love that cover. All right, later, guys. Okay. Sorry to hear that, Ron. Oh, the bug's been going around. Yeah, focus on your grandson. Make sure he's doing well. Get him some something warm. Ah, gotcha. All right. Well, again, thanks for just hanging out with me on this Friday night. We'll be back hopefully on Monday. I am planning to read the comics on Mondays, so join us then when we'll get to the reading our books again. We'll do, man. And yeah, I'm going to send off some books to Roger, so stay tuned on the results of that. It is a process, but Roger usually we do another video. Roger kind of comes up with the plan. He kind of walks through the stages of what he's going to do to each book. He takes pictures, kind of go through his thought process, and then he works on them, sends them back, and we cover them together with you. So this is sort of a routine that we do. We try to do it as often as we can, but it's been some time since we've actually connected on this. But Comic Book Doctor's in full effect, and we're going to do another round of improving books. So stay tuned for that. All right, man. Read your comics. Yes. Enjoy. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.